Do you have anything else you want to add? I don't think I have any more questions.
I got about a few more hours in me, but
Oh, hi there. I'm Dan Bradley, and I'm really glad you're here. This is a space for the stories that make us human. The ones with scars, falls, and second chances, third chances, fourth chances, hell, fifth chances, however many chances it takes. Because, again, we're human. Because resilience isn't always about having it all together. It's actually sometimes usually the opposite. It's about learning to stand up again and again and again, even when life knocks you flat, again and again. Here we talk about hope. And it's not always the cozy, cartoony, Disney, fluffy kind, but the kind you really have to fight for. The kind that grows out of the messes, disasters, and mistakes and still dares to shine anyway. So wherever you are, and whatever you're carrying, take a deep breath. You made it here. Welcome to Braving the Bright Side.
It is so hard. But, that's also like I've had so much perspective of all that because as a kid of divorce, I witnessed that.
Yeah.
And
was that a rough divorce between your parents?
Yeah. For sure. My dad was unfaithful and basically tore the family apart. And my mom did not want that to happen and was very hurt by it. And there was not much accountability taken for it.
Yeah.
And
shit lingers, man.
Yeah. And so it just made it tough. And you have both sides of it. You love both your parents, but you can see both perspectives and you can see why someone's right about that and someone's right about that.
Right.
Not about who's wrong here, but you're both kind of got good points, and it's hard to, do that. But, that was a challenge. And I'd have judgment towards that because I was a kid. And then as I grew up and now being someone who went through divorce, like, oh, I have a lot more like grace for them.
Yeah.
And give them a lot more grace in the fact that it was difficult. And it's like, you could judge that, but it's like, dude, just because you're an adult doesn't mean you don't have a ton of fucking pain. And it's really hard to fake to your kid that you really care for them when that person's hurt you so bad. And of course I've learned, I put myself in a position to be hurt. However, you trusted these people with your whole being, and yourself and everything.
I mean, that's love, right? There's accountability. But there's also a lot of faith, you're taking a leap of faith.
Yeah. And so to expect someone to be emotionally wounded in a way that they are and then not show that to a child is pretty unrealistic.
I was going to say, it seems next to impossible.
Yeah. And so I've tried my best as, my daughter's dad to not show the pain or the hurt or the things that frustrate you still. Cause it's like, you didn't split up because you're like, oh, we'll sort this out in a minute. It's like, no, there's the reasons you split they're all still there. Neither one of us just changed overnight.
Right.
It's like, oh, I saw what you were saying and I fixed it all.
Right.
It's like, you just kind of are who you are. And I always think about that when you go back into the dating world. I always am like, I don't really need anybody that needs to tell me what's wrong with me. I got one guy, my sponsor, and he's got permission to do that. And then the other stuff, if you're not psyched on it, either stick around and I might get to it at some point in this life or fucking don't. And I think it's that's kind of changed for me too, because I'm super people pleasy and wanting just to love me, and it was that kind of thing. I had low self-esteem, all this stuff, getting notoriety at a young age and then having girls like you because you're on TV and this stuff, and then going, I can't trust you. I don't know. What are your intentions? You don't know what to trust, and you're your fucking barometer for all that is off. You don't fuck anything.
Magic.
And I had major intimacy issues because I just had sex with a bunch of random people that I'll never see again. So then you get a girlfriend and they're like, you like can't be intimate. I'm like, I can't. Like, and then it's like, oh, I can't, you know, like, and I had real trouble like getting close or letting somebody like, cause I could like pretend it.
Right.
You know, in a sense of like,
you can phone it in a way.
Yeah. Like I'm pretty open with everybody. So if I'm open the same way, but I'm actually shut down really. Like, you know, I'm open in some ways and then like, you're not getting in there.
Right.
You know, and
don't look in that door.
Yeah.
Do not look in that fucking door.
Don't you, all right, look, you little bitch. But, but no, it's like, you know, learning about a lot of that stuff about yourself as you go. And for me, again, like, as you start to go back into it, you're like, look, I'd rather hang with somebody that wants to talk about what's right with me than what's wrong with me. Because we all got a bunch of shit that's wrong with us, but we focus too much on that. And I can do that myself. You know, I can beat the living shit out of
I mean, it's kind of what the world does right now anyway. We all focus on the negative shit a lot.
Yeah.
So it's exhausting after a while.
It does. And you know, and it's challenging, but like I said, like having my little girl and learning that, it helped me see like, okay, like look at the positives of that. Look at the positives about her mom and all the situations.
Yeah.
Like, and that has done that. And again, I'm not perfect with it by any stretch of the matter, but it's forced me to do that practice.
That's really cool. That's huge, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I feel very fortunate, but like I like, again, a lot of it is due to being her dad and just having that kind of like your little accountability buddy.
Yeah.
It's like, get your shit together, Dad. You know? But
that's man. Life's crazy.
Yeah,
life's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. And to circle back to that idea of how dark it got with my drugs and drinking and all that, and not wanting to be around and like. Just like, dude, Tim Robinson is like one of the funniest fucking dudes in the world. So like, there's this one skit, and I
don't want to be around anymore.
Yeah. And then like I said, because I sent it over to Woods and Tim, and like if I watched it right now, I would be on the floor like in pain laughing because it's the funniest fucking shit to me.
It's legit like one of my favorite sketches.
Yeah.
He's just sitting there with the creepy mask.
And the funny part is like I worked on Bad Grandpa with Knoxville.
Oh yeah.
And so like. In a way, I sort of see it like that because when he's just all like, and it's different than Knoxville, obviously, because Knoxville's really fucking funny. But like, I'd be in the sense of when he's doing that super cheese, like we're gonna do something so different, and then the old person thing, and he gets in there, he's like, I don't even want to be around, like.
And the guy's like, wait, what do you mean? Real quick, yeah.
But that makes me think of that when I just said that, because like when I really was like suicidal and shit through all the dark times of the drugs and whatever, and that kind of funny ass humor gets you out of it, you know. But when I think about how I was in that place for real, in a dark place, you know, I kind of made that decision. I learned this thing about like the suicidal thoughts and shit that I would have a lot. I learned that basically, because my sister said this to me, because I would threaten it a lot when I was like doing drugs and whatever, and you know, just take everybody hostage and be a real fucking asshole.
Yeah.
And so she said to me, like, Chris, that's a permanent solution to a temporary problem, right? And that's like a saying that's been said, a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And that always dawned on me, like, yeah, like I don't know what. After this sorts itself out, like I don't know what life has to offer. I've had a pretty fucking cool life.
Yeah.
You know, up until that point, like what do I know what's in store for me the rest? And that's some of the beauty of life is you just don't know what's coming and you get to experience all this cool stuff. And so along the way in recovery, I learned that, and I heard it somewhere. Some dude was like talking about, I'm 10 years sober and I was having all these suicidal thoughts, and I'm like, I'm 10 years sober and I'm having all these suicidal thoughts, you know, like, and that's what was happening at the time when I was like in a bad marriage. And, and I remember he said this thing, like, I didn't actually want to kill myself. I just wanted to escape the moment that I was in. And I just wanted to be out of that.
Huh.
And I just wanted to escape that. And I always tried to escape or like find an escape from that's when I used drugs and alcohol and this.
Right,
And he's
right,
like,
right.
and so I didn't have that anymore. So the thought of suicide was the way out. And really all he wanted was just to be out of that pain and out of that moment. And so I started like rewiring my head. Instead of being like, oh, I want to kill myself, I was just like, I just want out of this.
Yeah.
I don't want out of this life, like I don't want to be here, like, or whatever. But it was like, I just wanted out of that situation.
Yeah.
And I was gonna be in time. You know, and I get all cheesy with it, but like I love George Harrison and like all things must pass, right? So like that always.
There's a reason all these sayings exist.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. It's
because you grab onto those things and then they help you through those moments.
Exactly.
And you realize like, all I really wanted was just out of this moment. I don't want out of life, dude. What the fuck? Life is so fucking rad, you know? And becoming like, however cheesy it is, me being this like dad that's like, just like, you know, like, I don't know what's the word, like when you're just constantly like, oh, my daughter, you know, like whatever. But the truth is, she's the love of my life and the greatest, you know, thing I've ever been able to experience, and like, or just parenthood is like the greatest thing I've experienced. And I don't say that to be like for the people that haven't or can or whatever. And I feel for them and all them. I just mean it in the sense that for me has been my experience. Somebody else's experience as a parent is like, this is the worst fucking thing that ever happened to me, you know? But for me, it's the greatest. And I would have fucking missed that. Yeah. Like I would have missed all this awesome shit that's happening in my life now if I just decided to end it then. And that made me realize like, dude, you just wanted to escape that moment, and life's filled with those little fucking pockets of shit. Yep. And if you could just like clean it off and get going again, like you're going to have these awesome things ahead.
Just tether yourself to something and pull yourself through it.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get through it.
Like a fucking never-ending story or whatever.
Heartbreaking scene.
Yeah, right? Yeah. and yeah, I mean, and that's, I think what I've learned through that was like, it's not really like and those thoughts will come up, but now they're sort of rewired. And like, I just want out of this moment. I don't want out of this life, you know? And that's been huge for me because I had suicidal thoughts a lot in my life. You know, I'm somebody who likes to redline. You know, I like to fucking push the goddamn engine till it's going to explode, and that's just how it is. Yeah. Oddly enough, that just gave me this funny memory of Iceland when we were in this van, and Bam was like driving it through this river, and he's like redlining it, and Dunn's like, fucking knock it off, you know, and like he stopped it. He stopped Bam from doing that and was like, let me drive. And he drove like super slow because we were in the middle of fucking nowhere and it was just us in this van. There's no humans.
Iceland.
Yeah, in Iceland. Okay. And you're just dead, dude. Because who the fuck's, how are they going to know? We weren't on roads anymore. We were somehow in just the mountains driving along rivers, and then we're stuck and we couldn't get through, and there was just rivers.
Where were you going? what was the objective?
To get to the middle of nowhere, I guess. Like we passed this town that was supposed to be like population 20 something, whatever, but it was just a hotel with one old man in it. And we already passed it. Okay. And there was no more like roads. It was just roads, ruads, but like it wasn't, it was just like riverbeds and shit. And we were kind of riding through the mountain area. And then it came to this point where it was just rivers. And we're stuck. And
so
then
you had to go through
it to try to get to the other side where there would be a road or whatever. And I think at the time, I can't remember, I feel like we had like a fucking Rand McNally or something. It was not like a, you know, and where we were at, I'm sure a self-service, like there's probably not some cell phone asshole like hanging a thing up there. Yeah. But, so it was just like redlining and we're about to like flood the engine and you know, and then Dunn's like, stop. And he got into the thing and he like just knew a ton about like cars. He raced cars and did all that shit. Yeah. Like, and then he like slowly like got us through the river, like didn't redline, did this, didn't get so it, like the water wasn't flooding the engine. Yeah. And I remember, and it was so funny because Brandon DiCamillo is like, I mean, honestly, to me, I've met a lot of funny comedians and I'll say he's just the funniest fucking dude like I ever. And, you know, he'll say things that are just like, they're so simple and whatever. And you're like, how does your brain think like that? But it's awesome. But like, you know, when Ryan died, he was like, he just called me and was like, Rabbi, like, who's gonna drive us out of the river if it fucking floods? You know, whatever. Like, and it was just this dark ass moment, but it was just like
quite poetic too.
that was like, yeah, like that kind of thing. And it was like, oh man, like, you know, and you just thought about it, but it was that memory of that, and like how we were in this thing and all of us dipshits would have flooded the engine, and he was able to like get us out of that.
Yeah.
You know, and and it was just, that, I don't know, for some reason that red line thing reminded me of that. But
it's great.
But yeah, I'm somebody who likes to red line the thing and fuck it all up and then put it back smoking and be like, whoops.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just kind of always like that in life. You know, try to rewire that a bit, but it doesn't always take. Yeah.
Doesn't always take.
Yeah. But But yeah, man.
Oh, man. What a fucking story.
Yeah, no, it's wild to think like, you know, just, there's so many tons of little tributaries you can go off on in all of that story and all that.
Well, I mean,
stuff,
it's kind of what you're saying too, is, you know, when you're having those dark moments, you know, I don't want to be around anymore. But you know, it's kind of, when I was trying to think of like, all right, what am I going to call this podcast? You know? And I was like, braving the bright side, because really, like, you know, when you are in this shit, dude, when things are really, really bad, and it's hard not to just kind of feel it all on you, like weighing on you.
Oh yeah.
And it really does. Sometimes it just takes, like, you have to just trudge through the shit, and it takes guts, takes bravery to kind of keep going sometimes and just try to get through that to the other side. You have to brave it, because especially sober and stuff, like, you feel it, man. You feel every inch of that battle.
Yeah.
And you really have to fucking brave that through the darkness to get to the bright side.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, exactly. And I totally agree with that. And as I'm like hearing that, it made me think like, you know, what I've learned and what it is right now, like we're kind of just getting to know each other, chatting here. But like, what I learned too was like, I would love to be alone so that I can just wallow in all that shit. But if I get connected with someone else who can relate, because we all are having this human experience, no matter how fucking unique you think you are, you're pretty similar to the next person. You know, like that guy could be the mailman and he's got the same sort of shit that you deal with, you know, and you're like, well, I've been, you know, digging ditches. Like, you know, it just doesn't really like matter. We all have different paths, but similar stories.
In
that way. And like what I've found is just connecting with someone else. Like when you start to go kind of alone and isolate and get into that, especially when you're walking through tough shit, the best thing is surround yourself with that. And I've been pretty fortunate. Like I've always been able to find people who have walked through that stuff or trudged through those things prior to me. So like I've been fortunate to be surrounded by friends that have gone through divorces or have struggled with certain things like that, with parenting and trying to co-parent. This kind of like, I have friends that I've been able to chat with and they're further down the road and they have more wisdom on that topic. And so I don't feel alone because I'm like, oh shit, okay, I'm not unique. Like this person went through it too and they know how to sort it. And if you're willing enough to listen and recognize you might not know what to do, and then you could take some direction or advice, like they can help you out.
Community goes a long way.
It's huge. It's really huge. And I think that's for me, like sometimes, you know, you'll see that shit online or whatever where someone's like, this, you know, program 12 stuff, this stuff is like ridiculous. And you're like, okay, cool, man, if that's how it is for you, brother. But I've had an awesome experience with it. And what I've found is like, it's like, oh, they're just brainwashing you. It's just like, just get friends. And then I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know. But I know for me,
it's working.
It's worked. And I've found an awesome community of people that are like-minded in that sense. Like I've always said, like, I could walk into a room with a bunch of people that I don't know that, like, you know, whatever your story is, this and that. And I'm like, hey, and I feel a little uncomfortable. And like, then I'll be like, yeah, and then that like one time I thought I was gonna kill myself, and then I farted, and everything was all right. Like they'll look at you like, what, and then like you walk into a room of a bunch of addicts, and you're like, I don't need to say anything, y'all get it.
Yeah, we all get it.
Yeah, so that's rad to
We're
have
all right there.
to have that connection instantly without words is wild, like, and for me that's been the case. Like I always said, like, when I first got there, I was like, I can't really relate to like Eddie, the accountant who drank too many Heinekens. Like I fucking went on a crazy thing, and I thought I could never relate to that. And then I could relate more to other people that had crazy stories, and that was true. And then as time went, I'm like, I relate a lot more to Eddie the accountant than I thought I did, and our drunkalogs are different. But
call them drunkalogs.
Yeah,
love that.
Yes, but like like kind of just your stories of like, hey, I flipped cars, and I did, but that like they're different, but feelings and the depths and the darknesses and all that stuff are similar, and so that you can relate.
That's a human's experience that everyone knows.
Yeah,
everybody knows.
Yeah, and in that environment though, because sometimes if you go over to like Carol, who's just gardening her tulips, like she's like, what? I don't know anything about, so it's nice to have your community. It's nice to be on that boat, with the right people, and know like, okay, you get it.
Yeah.
And that's what I've found too. I found that obviously, in the creative world too, like, being, filmmaker, making all different types of video, podcasts, painting and writing and all the kind of different creative aspects and outlets that I have. Like I have that in common with artists and all those other people too, because you just connect. Like you're like, oh yeah. And that's like I said, I've been in groups that are the wrong boat, that like you don't get it because there's not an artist in sight. Right. How the fuck could I talk to you? I don't even know what to say. And then you'd be in a place where they're like, oh God, he just is always full of whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm interested in this, man. You're interested in that. And so it was challenging at times to be around that. And being on the wrong boat can just be quite
challenging to get on to leave that boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
that.
Yeah, especially because you think like, oh, you're supposed to do this and this is supposed to, and I'm trying to make these sacrifices and all this, and it's like you shouldn't totally sacrifice who you are. Like you see all those cheesy sayings, but I'll tell you, like when I was healing from divorce stuff and just other things in life, you see those cheesy little like sayings. I refuse to be the girl that posts them all over the place, but thank God they do, because you read some of it and you're like, oh man, like it is good to realize like, oh shit, I can get through this and figure this out. And
I have a folder on Instagram. It's literally called "Kick Life in the Dick."
Oh,
that's right. It's a bunch of those quotes, like there's like cheesy quotes that I just like save them.
You have to check that out because it is that thing. But it was this one that sort of talked about like just like whittling yourself away to like try to conform into
what you think you should be conforming into, or
to fit into that group of people that are the wrong people for you. And like eventually you're just like completely nothing and you lost yourself, and that kind of happened for me. Completely. I remember seeing this photo of me like just like overweight with a polo shirt and a butt cut, and I was like, what the fuck happened to me, dude? How did I get to be that guy? And then I did, so because I remember like blaming her, like, what'd you do to me? And it was like, I did that, but I allowed it to happen or whatever. And then, and then of course, when I kind of got reconnected with who I am, I sort of, went back to the guy that I am, and not some butt cut dude with a polo. Yeah. I don't belong in that. It doesn't look right.
Yeah, you don't come off as a butt cut with a polo kind of guy. I'm not talking to you at all.
Yeah. No, it's just it's just funny. But yeah, man, I don't know. Life's got all those different types of windy road shit, and then you figure things out, and then who knows? Maybe you are, maybe you aren't figuring it out. But it's been good, and like you said, braving the bright side has kind of been the thing. Is like, it is challenging to just try to focus on the positive, and especially, you know, being, you know, people like ourselves that are like, have the addict thing, but then also have the creative thing. Like sometimes you just spiral into the dark shit, and sometimes that does like mine some awesome stuff. But like if you stay there too long, you know, it can get too dark.
Yeah, I compare it to, because I'm a nerd, Spider-Man in the black suit, the symbiote suit. Can't hang in it too long, because then you're going to become a dick. And start punching old ladies in the face and breaking Eddie Brock's camera. You know what I mean? You can't be like that. You go in there for a little bit and fight some crime, then you get out of there. You know what I mean? It's important, like you said, mine it for a little bit and appreciate it, because you should be able to appreciate it and really take a look at it, because it's important to see how far you've come and how much that has helped you build into the person you are now. You know, there's nothing to take away from that. But you can't sit in it for too long.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like braving the bright side, I think when I think of that kind of statement, there's a lot to it for sure. I for me would feel like it's in those moments where it's more comfortable to be negative. It's more comfortable to sit in that like kind of low vibration thing to bring out my hippie astrology, like Mercury in retrograde, whatever nonsense. But like,
I mean, look at my tattoos. I mean, talk to the right guy.
Yes, it's like, well, what is your sign? But no, for real, like it is kind of easier to be in that low vibration. Like I was just doing a move recently, and the movers were like the goddamn worst, and it was real easy to get in that low trenches bullshit with them, and then I had to like step back and be like, oh my God, I'm being an idiot, and try to bring it back to like reality instead of getting frustrated by
pull yourself back up into it.
And but that low vibration stuff is pretty easy to sink into and can be addictive, because it's like it could get dark and but comfortable, you know, especially if you're used to it. Throughout life, childhood, and things that we've talked about, it's easy to be in that. It's kind of like drugs, like easy in the moment but difficult in the long run. So like easy to be in that dark, low vibration spot right in that moment, but then so hard because it's hard to get out of it, and it's hard to like even notice you're in it and that stuff. And so making that choice to try to be, you know, positive and try to get back to that good spot is a challenge, you know. And for me, there's a lot of humor in that dark, low vibration shit and all that, and that can be fun and tempting and you know, exciting at points. But like, what I have to do in order to brave the bright side, and what I've found, and I'm not always great at it, but it's like foundation is treating my addiction stuff, like recovery stuff first, for sure. And then like getting into like helping other people and getting outside of myself and trying to like go get connected with others, because that really helps me get back into that bright side of things. Always look on the bright side of life. But you know, it does like it does kind of put you into that by, if you get out of yourself and go talk to others, see what they're going through, like listen to them, be a listening ear instead of just, you know, talking about yourself. And I struggle with that, because I'm like, well, what's more important than me? You know, but I
was like, well, I got a good story for that one. People are like, dude, shut up. It's fine. Nobody needs to hear that.
And I'll beat myself up about that at times, like, oh, you just make it all about you. And it's like, so does fucking everyone. You know, like that's the whole entire fucking planet does that. I mean, why is somebody mad at you at the red light? Because they needed to go before you. You know, like it's just, we're all programmed for that. It's like a survival instinct is to think about yourself first. And
it's
what
like
you're
the whole
doing.
thing with like main character syndrome or whatever it is. I'm like, well, obviously I think I'm the main character. I'm not going to watch play a video game where I'm not the main character.
I'm the fucking supporting character in my life. What the fuck?
I never understood that.
But yeah, I think getting outside of yourself, trying to help other people and trying to do that. Like I've been fortunate to be able to do that in life. And I've always found that like that Tony Robbins shit, like secret to living is giving. But like,
it's true.
But if you do that, if you get outside of yourself and help others, the reward in that is huge. And that's what that's been my experience. And then I do exercising stuff. So like I run a lot. I was talking to you a little bit about it. Like, when I was going through divorce stuff, like that kind of helped me heal. I had the foundation of my recovery stuff, and therapy and EMDR and all that stuff. But the running, like I just got so into it.
Yeah.
And it was like a new high for me, like how drugs, but way better and healthier for you. And I started running marathons, and I get this like euphoric thing from it. And it's this meditative thing for me. So like I'm not the best at sitting there like some yogi, like, or whatever. And like, God, I wish I could, but I'm not that great at that. I would do it for like 10 or 20 minutes, and I would do it for like a couple months and think I'm like doing great. And then I just start slipping and not doing it. And then it goes away. And like the running thing has been like, dude, once you get into like 10 miles plus, you're just in this flow state of like,
flow state. Yep.
You know, and like, and your brain is like, it doesn't shut off, but what happens is like, you're just not grabbing on to all those negative thoughts and grabbing on, following those things down the fucking spiral hell, you know, and that happens for me. And I get that for a while. That's cool. Then I like do the recovery stuff and those things. And then, you know, and like everything else, I'll fuck up, not do it for a little. And then I'm all bound up and I'm a fucking irritable dick. You know?
Right.
Like they restless, irritable, and discontented. Like that's what they talk about. And it's like, yeah, dude, I get like that, like fast.
Yeah.
So I need to like work on that kind of stuff. And that part of that is recovery stuff, like getting outside of self, helping people, and then, exercising, trying to eat right, doing those things, especially as you're getting older, you know, like it becomes very clear. Like, like if I eat just a shit burger thing, I'm like, fuck. And then like you eat like a nice like fish and avocado thing. And you're like, oh, I feel great, you know? And it's very directly linked to that.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a game changer, man.
Yeah.
For sure.
I've found that too. Like, my whole family, like not whole family, but a bunch of people in my family are in medicine, like doctors and nurses and all that stuff. And I've been pretty fortunate to be surrounded by that and have that knowledge. And my aunt, who is my doctor, she would always be like, she's like, I know it sounds corny, but my mom used to always say like, your food is the best medicine. And it's so true.
So true.
And like when I had found myself in depressive states, I'm like, cause I'm eating ice cream and drinking sodas and these things and whatever. And that's happened. And then when all of a sudden, when I'm just cleansing with water and avocados and nuts and fish and these things, like, I'm like, damn, I feel fucking incredible. And I have positive thoughts and these things. And
it's like, crazy how, I mean, also exercise, I feel like people, well, I always say it, people don't realize, I don't talk to people, so that's not like I've done my own survey, but,
but I'll be the voice of this.
Let me tell you about it.
Yeah.
But in terms of like mentally, how much it toughens you, like working out or running or anything like that, like physical exercise, it toughens you up mentally a lot too. You know what I mean? It really does. It's huge for me. I probably rely on it a little too heavily for it mentally, but it really is huge. And then also, eating clean, eating healthy, taking care of your diet like that mentally is, you just feel better. You feel lighter, you feel less cloudy in the head, and you feel more prepared for life. We'll be right back. You know that one beanie you reach for every cold morning? The one that somehow feels like a hug and a caffeine boost to your confidence at the same time? Well, yeah, mine's from the Rethreadery. Beth started this Philly shop with nothing but a sewing machine and a belief that fashion could be creative, sustainable, and full of second chances. Everything they sell, from recycled apparel to handmade home goods, has a story stitched into it. So, if you're looking for something that's cozy, conscious, and made with a ton of heart, check out the Rethreadery. Progress, not perfection. One recycled treasure at a time. Head to therethreadery.com. You know those places that just feel like a deep breath the moment you arrive? Well, that's Haven on Adelum Lake, my sister's cabin tucked away in Cape May Courthouse, right on the water. It's quiet, cozy, and somehow exactly what you need, whether that's a weekend to write, reset, or just sit on the porch and watch the world slow down. With 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, and room for 4, it's the perfect little getaway to recharge. You can find Haven on Adelum Lake on Airbnb, Vrbo, and just about anywhere you book your next stay. If you're ready for a little stillness, go find your piece of calm on the lake. Welcome back. You know?
Yeah, and sleep too, because like what I learned from all this, the marathon running stuff, it's like it's crazy because you can't do it if you don't do this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's like so I ran a half marathon on Sunday. It's Tuesday, I guess. So I ran that 2 days ago,
Wow.
and half marathon for me. I'm not trying to lessen it because every run's hard, but like a half marathon for me is like, yeah, you just eat a nice breakfast and go run a half marathon. Like,
What's a nice breakfast for a half marathon?
for me, I just do like oatmeal, peanut butter, and banana, just because I don't want to like shit my pants or whatever. So,
Right. I mean, that's what I was trying to think. Like,
Yes.
eat light.
So yeah, something that, but like the main thing is like I feel like you can just do it, right?
Yeah.
Most people can do it.
Yeah.
And so then when I did that, and then I'm like, oh, like who's crazy enough to run a marathon? And then I was like, oh, I should do it, you know? And then I started trying to train to do it. And Jesus Christ, is it way different, you know? So like somebody explained it to me perfectly. They're like, you would think that a marathon is just 2 half marathons, but it's 10 half marathons. And you're like, what? And then it's like, getting from that 13-1 to the 26-2 is a completely different world. Like I said, eat a little oatmeal and a banana and you go run that thing. Get some water along the way. But with the marathon, you have to have the right like sugar and salt mixture going through your body throughout the whole entire time, or your body won't take in the water. So I had that happen. I was dipshit enough to just start running far, and I ran 20 miles and I was drinking water, but I didn't have the glycogen or whatever, the sugar and the salt tabs and all that. I didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
And then I just like finished it. I finished the 20 miles. It was hilarious. Like I walk up and I'm like, feeling a little lightheaded. So I go into Wawa and it was like on the run. I get a little water. I'm like, I'm drinking water. I don't know. But I had sweat so much or whatever. And I'm walking, I'm like lightheaded. And like, I guess I looked funny. So this couple was like, you all right? And I was like, I don't know. And I was like, I just ran 20 miles. And they were like, whoa, that's awesome. I was like, oh, and I'm not bragging. I feel like not right, you know? And like, if it came off like I'm bragging or something, but I'm like, no, I don't feel right. And they were like, okay, but what do you want us to do? I was like, I don't know. And I just sat down. I was like, oh, I think I'll be good. And like, I'm getting lightheaded. Like, no, what's going on? And then this old lady walks up. I'm sitting on her steps of her house. I didn't know, like on the front lawn.
Yeah.
And she walks up with a cigarette, like smoking a cigarette. She's like, hey, like, you all right? And I was like, I don't know, but I don't think this cigarette like is helping. And she's like, I wasn't offering a cigarette. I was like, no, I don't want a cigarette. I was like, I just think, could you get that thing away from me? You know, but like, I didn't know this was her house or whatever. Yeah. And then she's like, well, you don't look right. And I was like, oh shit. Well, you're like the second people that told me this. So I was like, I guess I'm not right, you know? And she's like, well, what do you want me to do? And I was like, maybe call an ambulance. I don't know. And as I'm like saying that, my speech starts slowing down and it's like, I'm like, I can't, like, I'm like, why is my speech? And then my right side starts like just going down, like, and like not moving. And I was like, I'm having a fucking stroke, you know? Like that's kind of what was happening, but I didn't know what was going on. And the cop comes up and he's like, he pulls up and is like, so what's happening? I'm like, I started telling him this and I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm having a stroke and it's all slow and I'm telling him. And then the ambulance comes up and they're like, hey, so what's going on? I was like, ask them, dude. I can't say it again, you know? Like, and then they're like trying to get you to talk because they want you to talk. But like, I'm like, I don't know. And I thought I was having a stroke, but I just had this moment where I was like, it was so funny because I'm like, I think because I was passing out. What was happening was like I was losing oxygen in my brain. And I was passing out because my kidney, kidneys were like spiking or whatever, and my heart enzyme was spiking. And my kidneys were like malfunctioning because I was so dehydrated, and so I was like going to pass out. And I was fighting it, but then I'm sitting. They got me up into the ambulance, and I just had this like flash of like, all those big dudes on the side of the football field always have like that oxygen thing. And I'm like, I think I need oxygen. And they were like, what? I was like, yeah, give me that. Like, and then they gave it to me and put it on. And then when I got it on, it was like instantly all right.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, I was like passing out. I didn't know what was happening. I thought I was having a stroke. So like,
Were you? I mean, I imagine you were still like sweaty in your running gear, right?
soaked. Yeah, soaking wet. Like,
Surprised they weren't like, yeah, you need oxygen.
yeah, they did. They kind of knew I was dehydrated, but they were trying to figure it out. And I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know if you've met EMTs. Not all of them are the,
Yeah.
It's like,
We don't need to
is
talk shit on EMTs.
Yeah, bunch of
yeah, they're a bunch
fucking
of pieces
idiots.
of shit, right?
Yeah. They're trying to save people's lives, these assholes. But no, edit that out. But but no, EMTs, the greatest people in the world.
Guys talking shit.
But yeah, well, listen, the bill they sent me, they should have fucking known more
That's
than
fair.
But no, EMTs, greatest people I've ever met.
Dude, phenomenal human beings.
But no, they really are. But I mean, there was just in this scenario, it's like, I don't know, run through the things. I can't really keep telling you.
Yeah.
And so I get the oxygen, but then they took me to the hospital. I was dehydrated, so I had to get like that, whatever, the saline, like the drip, to hydrate. They had to run me through all these tests, do all this stuff. And the reality was, I didn't have the salt and sugar in my body to have the water like penetrate my cells. So
oh, wow.
that you need that electrolyte combination to basically like hydrate you.
Yeah.
So you can put water in, it'll just go right out. And that was what was happening. And so I had learned a major lesson here on the run.
Yeah.
But that was what helped me, because I, went to the hospital, had to stay the night. They thought I was having a heart attack because my heart enzyme had spiked so high, because that's what happens when you run, when marathon runners, it happens. But like, they don't usually just get some dipshit to run and they're like, hey, I ran a fucking marathon without doing any of the shit you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I get home and I'm like, I guess I can't do it. I don't know how to do it. And then I tried to go again. Like 2 weeks later, I was like, all right, let me go again. Because it was like the last run on the training thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to run 20, see what happens. And then I go, and then at 16, I started feeling funny again. And I was like, God damn it. And my mom, I had my mom kind of follow, because I was like, just in cause like this shit goes down.
Right.
I don't want to pay $3,000 to get a ride to the hospital.
Yeah.
Just give me a ride. So, because that's what it was. I was like, I should have caught a fucking $40 Uber. I'd have been, they probably had an oxygen hookup in the back. But, yeah, so I run the 16, doesn't work. And then I get home and I'm super bummed. Like, how the fuck do people do this?
Yeah.
And then I called, or I texted this friend. She's like in her 50s and she's ran like 20 of them.
Damn.
And I'm like, hey, how are you doing that? And she was like, well, what's your like nutrition? I told her like, oh, I'm eating like fish, sweet potatoes. Like, I could tell her like what my diet is. And she's like, no, that's great. But I'm talking about like, what's the nutrition during the run? I was like, what do you mean? She's like, what are you eating during the run? And I'm like, nothing. She's like, nothing? I was like, well, I was drinking water. And she's like, I drank like 6 cups of water on like a 20-mile run. She's like, what? She's like, no. She's like, I do these
like the packs or
gel packs with the sugar and then the salt chews. And she's like, I do like 7 of those in one of those runs.
Damn.
And like, I was like, what? Like in a marathon, she'll do like 7 of those things. And the salt chews and all this. And I was like, I did 1 of them, and she's like, you did 1 for 20 miles. Like, oh, like I was just an idiot, just blindly going into this. Like, you just tough this out, and so I didn't have any more I didn't have any more like long runs to test it.
Yeah.
And then I just flew out to LA to do the LA Marathon. And I was like, well, I'll do what she said. Every 4 miles, eat one of these. And eat the salt chew. And then on the day, I just did that and totally did it.
Totally fine.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was like, oh, shit. Like, I ate it at the 4-mile mark, like she said, and just did it how that. And I made that the plan. And I drank like whatever it is. It's basically like 8 cups or something in an hour.
Yeah.
So it's like a liter of water in an hour.
Yeah.
For your run. And then I did that and I finished the marathon, and it was so funny because I saw at the 20-mile mark, not funny, it's not funny at all. But like at the 20-mile mark, people were just dropping off like flies because they were doing what I'm doing.
Right.
And like they're not hydrating, they're not doing the food.
I don't know that I do
things
any of that.
Yeah, because you don't know. And like, but then the real runners, they know how to do it right.
Yeah.
And some people who are badasses, like those elite runners, they're like, I have like one of those packs and I do it. But it's like for someone who's like a novice runner, you need like myself, you need to like do it correctly and take care of your body and do that. Like where those, you know, the people that run it in like 2 hours, they're like nuts. They're superhuman.
Their body has become accustomed to this now.
They have like built to that level.
Part of the X-Men now.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And so I finished that, and that was a huge thing for me in terms of like, just to circle it back to like Braving the Bright Side, like that was this huge accomplishment for me where people might be like, who gives a shit, it's running, but like it meant the world to me. Like in this level of like, I was healing from a divorce. I was like going through the hardest period of my life, trying to be a good dad while I'm struggling and I don't have a career anymore because I left where I was, and I'm trying to build a business and trying to do this and trying to do that. Like, and it was so fucking hard. And the running just gave me this like incentive and this confidence that like I could do it. And
you do hard things.
And when I failed so fucking miserably and ended up at the hospital, like it didn't stop me from it. I figured it out.
Yeah.
And the way I figured it out was community. I talked to the people. They taught me what I didn't know.
That's awesome.
I was willing to be teachable in that. And when I did it the way that she did it, I finished and I crossed that finish line.
Yeah.
And that was so huge to me, you know, like to be able to do that. And it was just so cool because like when I did, I was able to call my dad and my mom and my friends that like had just had my back through this really challenging time. And it meant so much. It wasn't just a run, you know, it was like this thing that like, it was like, it showed me like I could get through fucking anything.
Yeah.
And then since then ran 2 more marathons and I cut 20 minutes off the thing. And, and just got to this place where like, I'm like doing it pretty well. Yeah. And like, I'm not built like a runner. I'm like, you know, I'm like a short dude, like little, you know, little.
Well, you came in today and you were telling me about it before we came up here. I was like, yeah, okay, dude.
Yeah.
Like, no way.
Yeah. When you walked there, it's like, his fat fucking ass.
But like, okay, so I'm interviewing a liar.
Yeah. I just wish you weren't a liar. That's all. But
what was your time on this past run on Sunday?
It was
a half marathon, right?
Yeah, the half. I have it right here. So 1:44:54.
Wow, holy shit.
So 8-minute even mile.
Damn.
So and then I did the full was 8:29. 8:29.
That's
so that
incredible.
So it was a lot slower than the half, obviously. But
still.
Thanks, man. It's
Chris,
wild.
awesome.
It's wild. So yeah. So like 3:42 was my 3:42, 3:43. My first one was a 4 even.
Wow.
But I was just so happy to get across the finish. I was a 9-minute mile, but it was like I was just cruising out there. I wasn't trying to do anything. And then the second one, 3:42, and I'll say I didn't enjoy the run as much because I was so concerned about trying to shave time. And then I was like, I learned that huge lesson of like, it ain't about that, man. Just get out there and enjoy this. And enjoy each run for what it is. And each one of them is different. And I have like, I have this rap song that plays and it's like, I think it's called Diet Coke. It's the, Pusha T, like, and it's just like yesterday's price is not today's price, and you know, and like, I fucking love it because it shows you like, dude, whatever you're going through, like today is different than what it'll be tomorrow, and so like, tomorrow's price might be cheaper, but tomorrow's price might be a lot more expensive, you know, and so like that kind of gets in my head, and I just kind of go into those spots with the run, but like nothing's guaranteed in that, and so, so then I was able to learn, like, just get out there and enjoy it. And yet on Sunday, like, I went out and I was running a lot slower on the training. I wasn't eating well, wasn't sleeping well, a lot of stress going on, those things. And I was just doing it. And I was doing like more of like an 8:30 pace. And then I went out on Sunday and just had a good run. Yeah. And it was a beautiful day.
It was gorgeous.
The weather was incredible. And then there was this girl in the run, and it was so weird. Like right away, we just kind of linked up, and we were just on the right pace. And she had a fucking perfect pace. Yeah, like she was just very consistent. And I sort of just kind of like
Matched it.
Yeah, just watched her, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna stay there where she's at, and we basically ran the whole thing together. And then I like right as I crossed the finish, I forgot to get the medal, and I went back and got the medal, and then she was like right there, and she was like, "Hey, great run," and I had that, and we just kind of fist bumped it, but it was this rad moment of like, we knew that the whole way that we were kind of with each other, and we were keeping each other
That's
in
cool.
that spot.
Community, man.
Yeah, and that's what I found in the running community too, is like what's so cool about it on the marathon. This guy, I think it's Chris Koch. Koch, but he was basically born with no limbs.
Oh wow.
And he gets out on a skateboard and does the marathons.
Oh shit.
And it's so fucking cool. And just on the idea of the like community. Let me see. I think it's
yeah, if you find it too, send it to me, and then I'll link it on the
if I
podcast episode too, description.
If I can Chris Koch, I don't know how you pronounce it, Koch, but he's an incredible story, and I had this moment with him in the Philly Marathon where like, and you know, it was so motivating for me because like I was running that run and you know, I wanted to do a lot better than I did, and I ended up having to take a dump like in the middle of it because you know, like it just happened.
Yeah,
so I had to jump off and like crap real quick, and I was so bummed because I lost like time and like stuff. And I would and I got a 3:43 on that one, but I was like gonna be way less. And but anyway, I was in my head and I was fighting a lot of stuff, and then I came up next to him, and it just like, you know, you got to control your emotions when you're running because you can't like let it break you down. But like, I just got welled up and had this just like such inspiration from him because it was like, and that's his thing. Like, if I can, you know, and it's like, fuck this dude.
That's
like,
incredible.
Like, there's no fucking excuses. Yeah. And he's so rad. And like, I just kind of sent him a message, or I tagged him on a thing because it was just so cool. It's just like a little moment where I just ran by him and was like, yo, fuck yeah. Like, and he kind of gave me that. And then it was like, oh shit, you know, it just is so inspiring. And like you said, the community of it is so fucking cool. And everybody cheers each other on. And you realize like, you know, like we were talking about it earlier with the judgmental, like I could be quite judgmental at times in certain things, but with the running community, what happens is like, it doesn't matter who you are, what fitness level you're at, or any of that stuff. You're just psyched for every single person that's out there to give it a shot and try and do it.
Yeah.
You know, because you know that like, you know, the feeling like I do with like addicts and stuff is that, you know, the feeling of like just wanting to try to prove something to yourself and try to bring the best out of yourself. And everybody out there, when they're doing that is that's what they're approaching.
Doing the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so cool.
And it's some wildly different walks of life too, you know. You get out there like, fuck yeah, dude, look at this guy out there, look at this chicken out there, like it's really cool.
And that's I think that's like that's part of that braving the bright side. Like when you ask that, it's like it's that stuff. It's like it's community that helps you kind of do that. And I think I don't know, I'm just fortunate to have found a few different communities that kind of like help you do that, like the creative community, the running and the recovery stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's all super healthy communities too that seem to bring out the best in you too. Yeah, which is really fucking cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man. That's great. That might be the best answer yet to braving the bright side.
I was like, did I even answer the question?
I mean, we took a while to get there, but I mean, the whole thing was a very long answer.
That's me in a nutshell. It takes a while to land this plane. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to ask another question. One more question, I guess. If you had to describe your life in one word, life nowadays, what would it be?
I don't know. I mean, I would say if you asked me when I was younger, it would be poop, but because I was known for that. Yeah, I don't know. You know, how do you answer that so that you're not super cheesy and so that whatever. But grateful is for sure a word that I try to live in gratitude. I don't always succeed at that. But every morning I wake up and to my sponsor and the guys I sponsor, like we send gratitude lists. So like
That's awesome.
we wake up and we put a list of 5, like what are 5 things you're grateful for as soon as you wake up?
Yeah.
And every day we send those, we miss a day here or there, but like for the most part, every day we send those. So you start your day with gratitude. And so if I had to say one word, grateful, just so like grateful that I get to live this life experience, and even when it's challenging and when it's hard and all that shit, cause that's life, still grateful for it. Cause I just want to escape the moment, but not escape life. And I get to live all of these cool experiences. And now, like I said, with my daughter, I get to have these amazing experiences. And some of the most simple things, like just we go to my family cabin and she gets psyched to get there because there's these Dixie cups that there's like a whole like stack of them. She gets to put them into a pyramid and then like run through it. And she just loves that. And you're like, dude, like we do all these amazing other things, whatever, travel, like, all this other stuff that we're doing.
Yeah.
And you go to the beach and you go to the amusement parks and you do all the things, like, and then it's like, oh, I just want to put the Dixie cups up and run through. Yeah. It's like, awesome. And it's so cool to have those, like the little experiences in life can be some of the greatest things. And some of those big ones are awesome too, to be able to like go to Iceland and do the, and
for sure.
And, but yeah, when I think back and, gratitude, grateful is the word for sure. The other day I sort of scrolled through my Facebook thing randomly. I haven't done that in a long time. And it was just looking at the photos that I had on there because I didn't know. Because like some of those I don't have saved anywhere. But like, so I was like, oh, maybe I should save them. But just over the course of like some years, you're like, God damn, I'm pretty lucky, man. I've had a pretty amazing experience. And, part of that is I've gone out and lived life. But also part of it is very lucky to have been born into the circumstances that I'm in so that I have the opportunities and that I can take advantage of those opportunities that I'm given that are not everybody is given.
Yeah.
And I've had some amazing stuff. Like I've gone down and done a bunch of work in Haiti and that stuff like really puts things into perspective for you where you see that like not everybody is really not everybody's born into like, I don't know, privilege or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. The best scenarios, the best, the best situations.
But the people that aren't, I have found are probably the most grateful people in the world who just have the right perspective and they walk through challenges that, I don't know that I would necessarily have the strength to walk through. But when you see that they can, then you get kind of like inspired to be like, all right, cool. Well, what I'm going through isn't much of anything.
Yeah.
Not to lessen it because everything's relative for whatever you're going through. But to be able to surround yourself with people who walk through some tough times, it's inspiring to be like, okay, cool, I could do it too.
Right. And
it kind of all comes back again to the community that you're talking about because it's so important.
It's super important, man.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, every facet of life, it's important to have that community. That's awesome.
Yeah. No, man. I mean, like, I obviously we talked a lot about my stuff, but yeah, I just had wondered, like, and you shared a lot too. But I mean, I wondered for you, like, what would be your answer to that? Like, how would you define braving the bright side?
It's funny because I didn't expect to be asked that. No, I'm kidding.
Whoa, fuck me. This is how I brave it. Like choke it out. Just end the episode.
Yeah, just you dying on the podcast. This is how.
Yeah. Darkness.
Brave it down, motherfucker. No, I think kind of what I said earlier is, being in the shit, and being in that darkness and feeling awful, feeling rotten, feeling lost. And being able to, even if you can't even see what could be possibly waiting for you on the other side or what could be possibly life has in store for you, but still making the choice to put in the work to kind of keep going and to keep walking forward as brutal as it may be at times, or as painful as those steps may be, or, as embarrassing as it may be to ask for help, to really put yourself out there and feel everything. I think that's, to me, is what braving the bright side is it's not necessarily getting to the light, but putting the work in when you're in the darkness and feeling the darkness and still choosing A, to keep going, and B, to still be a decent person to other human beings, even when you're in it. That's a big thing too, I think.
It's pretty challenging because I was telling
challenging.
you when I got here about the internet and the movers, and you're like, I certainly wasn't that way.
Yeah.
I kind of lost my shit
Yeah.
on people that didn't deserve it, and I haven't done that in a long time, but I did. I was just kind of like, dude, what the fuck?
I mean,
and you're
but that's like,
fucking all my furniture up, and you're like, and you're not showing. He's like, God damn it,
Yeah.
But I was definitely trying to stuff it down.
Yeah,
but...
you were trying. But I feel like that's just life. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like there's a difference between, like, you don't let people walk on you or shit on you or anything like that. You know what I mean? But, like, I like the saying is like, well, you don't know what they're going through. Everyone's fighting their own battles, which I think is absolutely true. And I think it is important to keep that in your mind. But I also feel like that there is something to be said about if you are fighting your own battles and you can still find it here, if you're wounded or if you're hurt or if you're lost, and you can still find compassion and empathy for human beings and animals, anything living, and still be a good person to somebody. I think, to me, that is braving the bright side.
That's cool, because I actually did do that day. Like, I was sort of frustrated and whatever, and then like the one dude was like, "Oh, how you were handling that," and then I was like, "Yeah, you know what, you're right." Like, and then had that moment where I sort of reset that, and I talked to a buddy, and he was like, it might be a tough day for you, but like this is kind of their day every day, and you're like, fuck. All right. Yeah. Good point.
Flips the switch, man.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. I'm a dick.
Yeah. Oh, I'm the asshole. Shit.
Surrounded by assholes. Yeah.
And like a lot of times, people look at empathy as like a fucking thing of weakness now sometimes, which pisses me off because, like I said, I was like, yeah, everyone's fighting their own battles. We know that. And it's very, very true. But if you can fight your own battles and still be a good human being and still show sympathy and empathy and kindness to people, to strangers, to animals, to anything, despite what you're going through, like that to me, that is braving the bright side.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good answer. Yeah, that's a really good way to look at it, because that helps put a lot into perspective.
Yeah.
And it's hard to remember that at times, like when you're in those moments.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, we keep saying it over and over. We're not perfect, despite all of the work we've put in. We're definitely far from perfect. Yeah. Yeah, you did.
I did not mean it.
I said it for the podcast. All right.
Yeah. Don't believe it, but
it's a good soundbite.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I still have to remind myself of that. You know what I mean? Like, I go into work sometimes and I'm like,
yeah.
And some girl just wants, an organic lollipop.
Yeah.
When her parents
somebody
are
just wants a Swedish. What the hell was that guy?
Scandinavian swimmer.
Scandinavian swimmer.
Instead of Swedish fish, it's a Scandinavian swimmer.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Sir, when it comes to Scandinavian swimmers, I don't fool around.
Yeah.
Well, you can go fuck yourself. That's what he said to me. But I just kind of laugh and smile and keep it going. So
yeah.
But yeah, to me, braving the bright side, that's what it is. It's it's a bunch of different things. When I came up with the idea of the podcast, it was the world is super dark. So if you can be a bright spot and be a point of positivity in a room of darkness or for anybody, then that's kind of what it was based on. But then it's kind of evolved into, kind of what I just said to you right now about, if you can still be soft and sympathetic and show empathy. I don't know. That's what it means to me. It's a bunch of different things, which is really cool. That's why I like asking that question when people come on here, because no one's answer is the same.
Yeah.
Everyone's answer is different. And it's cool because that's kind of the beauty of community. That's the beauty of humanity. And it's kind of why I love doing this, is seeing everyone from different walks of life. It means something different to everybody. And it's valid every single time.
It's just like different perspectives on what it is.
Yeah.
It kind of helps open your mind to it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rad. Well, dude, thanks for having me on here.
Chris, it was great having you on here, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing your soul and your stories and the laughs and the dick jokes, all of it, man.
Yeah.
It's all good shit, dude.
Nice.
Listen, truly though, your story is incredible. I mean, to go from where you're coming from, Where growing up, what did you have? Blue hair, mohawk?
Yeah.
You're the shit kid?
I had a little earring from Claire's.
Did you get it pierced in Claire's?
Yeah.
I love that. Did you ever see that sketch on I Think You Should Leave when they're watching the Claire's piercing video? That's one of my favorites, dude. That one is so good.
Yeah. It's so good.
Your story is incredible. And what I really like about it, and again, this podcast has put it in perspective because I was like, oh, this episode will be about grief, or this episode will be about addiction, or that's no human story is based in one thing, is steeped in one specific. It's not a movie. It's not a TV show. It's we're all over the place. And I really love your story because your story is kind of crazy. You know what I mean? From growing up, going into CKY to Jackass, traveling the world. And then also you hitting sobriety and then getting hit with some really major hardships and some darknesses, man.
Yeah.
And like right off the bat, having your heart stomped on a couple times and getting pulled around. And you stuck to your sobriety, you put in the work while feeling all of that. And then, going through everything you've come through. Now you're talking about running half marathons and you're talking about the love for your daughter and how inspiring she is and how much she teaches you. It's a really, really fucking cool story, man. It really is. It's killer.
Oh, man, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't thank you enough for sharing with everybody here.
Yep. Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, man.
Sweet.
Okay, Goodbye.
Wait, I'm still here.
Get the fuck As we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with this. It takes real bravery to face yourself, to slow down after years of running, to sit in the quiet, and to start rebuilding piece by piece. Finding peace isn't flashy. It's not the kind of thing that makes headlines. It's the quiet, daily choice to keep showing up for yourself, to do the work, to find clarity, to laugh again, even when it feels impossible. Raab's story is proof that it's never too late to change direction, to trade chaos for calm, and to become the person you were always meant to be. If something in today's conversation stirred something in you, or if you just need someone to talk to, I'd love to hear from you. You can reach out anytime at bravingthebrightside@gmail.com or find me on Instagram at braving_thebrightside. And if you got a story you feel called to share, but you're not quite ready to tell it yourself, that's okay. You can send it to me, and with your permission, I'll read it here on the show, so your voice and your journey still get the chance to be heard. Thank you for spending a little time on the bright side with me today. Until next time, keep braving it. One step, one sunrise, one honest conversation, and yes, even one crash out at a time. I'll see you next week.